Yeah, certainly some attacking weapons there off the bench, and they've been crucial in the Wanderers' road to the final here tonight. We're going to look back a little bit, and Hef, you were involved in the round of 16 victory over Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Take us back to that moment, and I guess when you left the club, the belief you had that the boys could go on and do what they have done in the remaining time.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things at this club. From the day I walked in, there's always been that kind of belief from the coaching staff, and that instills in the players. And look, you know, there hasn't been too many surprises in the lead up to this grand final. I've always felt the boys could do it, and they've shown that each game.
And Robbie, as we watch these guys go through the knockout stages, how much belief did you personally, I guess, have that these guys could do what they've done and reach this?
They were up against it every time. The quarterfinals against the giants of Asia, Guangzhou, Evergrande. It was all about Tommy Juric in those two games. He scored both their goals. Of course, it was the away goal that they got a penalty from Juric that sent them through. And then in the semi-finals against FC Seoul, I mean, they were up against it again, but it's just been a tremendous story. Polyak and Shannon Cole with the goals in that crucial semi-final. The draw set it up, really, a 0-0 in FC Seoul, and they came home and they did the business. It's been an incredible ride, and there's been so much excitement already around this campaign, and that excitement has just built to tonight, where we're going to see world-class players in action again. Thiago Neves is a world-class player, so there's so much to look forward to and be excited about in this first leg and then in the second leg.
Well, we've spoken about Al Hilal's players, but let's talk a bit about the club, because it's fair to say not many people in Australia would know a great deal about what they're about, but their history is imposing, to say the least. They've qualified 10 times for this competition. They've actually won 6 Asian trophies among 55 trophies all up in their 57-year history. It's, as I said, imposing is the word, isn't it? It's not bad.
I mean, that just shows you what they're up against. But they've been up against it in the quarters and the semis. And like Hef said, when he played in the games, you know, the round of 16, they just have this tremendous belief within them that they're going to go all the way. It's like destiny to take this trophy home.
Let's hear from our West Asian football correspondent, Alan Batasha, who's with Brenton Speed to give a little bit of context of what Al Hilal are all about.
Alan, thanks for your time. They're a powerhouse club, Al Hilal. No expense has been spared this week, has it?
Absolutely not. They've come on a private jet. They arrived on Sunday, and that was bankrolled by the Saudi royal family. They're staying at the Park Hyatt, which is one of the most exclusive and expensive hotels in Australia. And they've had 4 training sessions in 4 different venues in Sydney just to get things right. So money's not an option. And interestingly, just the other day, the Prince Abdurrahman bin Musa'ad was interviewed on Saudi TV and said that the Park Hyatt wasn't big enough for them, that this would be a small hotel in Saudi Arabia, and they've actually had to send some of their management team and staff across to the Four Seasons, who hand out free tickets to the Al Hilal fans that will create hopefully some good colour and noise tonight.
You mentioned all those training venues. It's been pretty cloak and dagger from Al Hilal, trying to keep Australian prying eyes away, but you managed to get in there. How do you expect them to set up?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get in there and have a look at their tactics and how they'd line up. I was tipped off by a Saudi press or media officer that said Reggie Camp likes to set up his team 2 days before the match. So on Thursday, I went down and had a bit of a look. And the interesting thing is they've changed things around in terms of how they play. They like to play out from the back. And in the training session, they were doing long balls to the wings. So that indicates 3 things. The first thing is they think that they can capitalise on the Wanderers' slow defence by getting the ball out early, and they think there'll be gaps in between the Wanderers' defence and their attack. The second thing is they think that the Wanderers need to be hurt by the counter, so they're going to try and be dangerous on the counter by moving it quickly. And the third thing is they're going away from what they know, which is extremely dangerous.
Fascinating insight. Thanks for your time and enjoy the match.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, only time will tell to see whether that is how this match plays out. Now, let's have a look at Al Hilal's road to the final. Of course, they've only played West Asian opposition because that's the way the competition runs. Hef, what do you reckon? I mean, we know that Australian sides going to the Middle East is difficult conditions-wise, but do you think it'll be the same, them coming here? Are they up against it?
Oh, of course. I think it's going to be very difficult for them. I mean, for the Wanderers, we've travelled to Asia, we've made these big journeys and got results there. It's now their turn to come to us, and, you know, the boys are ready for them. It's going to be difficult for them, the food, the travel. They've done everything they can to be ready, but, look, it's going to be a difficult task for them as well.
Indeed it will. Well, they've done everything they could to make their preparation sound. They've got the private jet, they've booked out a hotel. That sounds like when in your playing days, Robbie, that sort of thing you would have done.
Yeah, exactly, but... Look, I think for them, their road was tough. They only just beat Al Saad by the odd goal, and then Al Ain from Qatar, 3-2, 4-2 on aggregate. Al Shamrani scoring both those games. So, look, a tough road for them, and the first time they experience this kind of atmosphere. And although they're not going to have the 65,000 that they'll have when we go over to Saudi Arabia, but they'll still find a very hostile atmosphere.
Well, Robbie, we're going to let you go upstairs because you've got a match to call. Hef, you'll be staying with us to take us right through to kick-off. Don't go anywhere, because after the break we'll have more build-up to this massive, massive match. Yes, welcome back to Parramatta Stadium, where the atmosphere continues to build ahead of kick-off, and if the match itself lives up to what's happening in the stands, I think we're in for something pretty special indeed. Now, one man, of course, who's been pivotal to the Wanderers' road here to the final tonight is, of course, their coach. And this week, Tony Popovic opened up to us on what he thought was the turning point in the Wanderers reaching the final.
So it is a huge test tonight. On debut in the Champions League, Western Sydney Wanderers up against Ulsan Hyundai.
That first game was, when I look back as a coach, I think that's the best thing that happened to us, that we lost 3-1. We were playing well in the A-League at that time, and we played well that day, and we lost 3-1, and we got punished quite heavily.
Oh, and Topo Stanley can't get to it, and Kim Shin-wook says thank you very much. Topo Stanley beaten in the air by Kim Shin-wook. And the shot on target, in fact, it's better than that. And they've come from behind to lead 2-1.
A good reality check for me to see what the ACL is.
Goes beyond Kim Shin-wook this time, or it might bounce for Ulsan. They've scored again, and that might be enough to see off the Wanderers.
Tactically, if you're not prepared, you will get punished, and I wasn't prepared that day. And it was a big lesson. So that was really me reflecting. Is it our preparation? Is it the way we play tactically? To make sure that we don't just make up the numbers and say, oh, we had a good campaign, but we're out. The belief never changed that we could get through the group. It's just how we went about it. We made some slight changes, which in the end has brought us to this point. We were in every single game, even the games that we lost. We were in every single match to the end, which does give you belief as a player. I'm sure the players would grow in confidence knowing that, you know, you're competing at the highest level and actually competing with these stars and players that are accustomed to this competition. And, you know, they thoroughly deserve to be in a final.